Hi, welcome to my channel. Today we are discussing net present value method, which is a discounting of cash flow model for capital budgeting. This is the most used method for evaluation of long-term investment decisions, and this method is a method which is easier in comparison to internal rate of return method, and also it considers net present value, which is not considered under payback period method. So let's discuss how net present value is used in capital budgeting to make decisions regarding which project a firm's management shall undertake and which project a firm's management should not consider for implementation. Let's see what happens, how it happens. Net present value, the term can be defined as the excess of present value of benefits or inflows over the present value of costs or present value of initial investment. So you can see that NPV can be defined as present value of cash inflows minus present value of cash outflows. So this means NPV is a concept which decides whether to accept or reject a project based on the value of the NPV. Value of the NPV should be positive to be accepted. However, if it is negative, then you must reject the proposal. Simple. If the value of NPV, present value of cash inflows minus present value of cash outflows, are positive, you must accept a project. If it is negative, you shall reject the project. The decision rule is that what I said to you already, accept those projects which has positive NPV, because if you accept them, then that means the amount of money which is positive NPV, positive value, would be what you would be receiving as of today if you are accepting a project. This means the amount of value of the firm will increase by the amount of positive NPV. On the other hand, a negative NPV project shall be rejected. This means if you accept a project whose project's net present value is negative, the firm's value would go down, decline by the same amount of negative NPV if you accept the project. So it is prudent to reject a project which has negative NPV, because it doesn't matter why you should accept the project. It doesn't make any sense. However, if the NPV is exactly equal to 0, then it doesn't add any value, but more importantly, it doesn't diminish your firm's value. It doesn't decline the stock prices. It doesn't affect the firm in any way. So accepting a project if the NPV is 0 might not be a good idea, might not be a bad idea actually. It might make sense if there is no alternative project having a positive NPV. So it doesn't increase in value, so it is not a good idea, but it doesn't decrease the value either. So that's why it's not a bad idea. So if NPV is exactly equal to 0, you might actually consider accepting the project. So acceptance rule, if NPV is positive, you must accept. If NPV is less than 0, you must reject. You might accept if NPV is 0. So if you are considering two mutually exclusive projects, that means if project A can be undertaken, B cannot, A and B mutually exclusive projects. If both has positive NPVs, you would accept the project which has highest NPV. So in case there are two projects, both of having positive NPV, you must consider accepting the project which has larger NPV. But if the projects are quite independent, that means project A and B can be undertaken separately and both has positive NPVs, you might consider undertaking both the projects because you have the capital, you have the expertise, you can undertake both has positive NPVs, both will increase the firm's value. But in case of mutually exclusive projects, if you undertake project A, you won't be able to undertake project B. So because of that, you shall accept only that project which has the highest NPV. Choose the project with highest NPV. Let's do an example. Project X requires investment of 10,000. It generates a cash flow of 2,000, 1,800, 2,200, 3,500 and 5,000 in 5 years. Project's cost of equity is 10%. So let's see if this project makes sense. 2,000, 1,800, 2,200, 3,500, 5,000. Because the project's rate of interest or cost of equity is 10%, we will take the present value of factor that you can get from the PVF table. We discussed this table in time value of money when we calculated present value and future value of single cash flows. So 10% 1 year, present value this, 10% 2 year, 10% 3 year, 10% 4 year, 10% 5 year, then multiply both, you would get the present values. Total addition 10,453, that is the present value of inflows because these are cash inflows. On the other hand, the outflow is initial investment is 10,000, so you have a positive NPV project shall be accepted. This is because if you undertake this project at a 10% rate of interest or cost of equity, the firm's value will increase immediately by $453. So because the NPV is positive and we only have one project, we must accept the project as it has a positive NPV, and positive NPV means it should be able to increase the project's value, the firm undertaking the project's value by 453. Example 2, you have to invest $250,000, 250,000. You get $50,000 in year 1, 90 in year 2, 100,000 in year 3 and 4 each, 30,000 in year 5. Opportunity of capital or KE, this is known as KE, or R, rate of interest, rate of return, 8%. So let's find out the NPV. 50, 90, 100,000, 100,000, 30,000. This is 8% present value factors. You can find from the present value factor table. If you don't have the present value factor, or if you try to understand how this is calculated, you can mail me. You can also WhatsApp me. I can send you the tables. I can send you the entire table either in Word document, Excel document, or PDF. We can have a discussion as to how this is found out. We have already discussed this in time value of money, so please go through that video. The video link, you can if you can go to the channel, you can find the video is titled present value and future value of single cash flows. You can find how present value is calculated. Then multiplying this with this, we get this. These are the present values. This means you are about to receive $50,000 at the end of year 1, but this amount is 46,296 right now. So all the present values are multiplied, and this with this, this with this, this with this, you get this, and all this you get 269,760. Subtract the inflow, which is the initial investment amount, so you get a positive NPV of 46,760. This means if you accept the project, the NPV is positive, NPV is greater than 0, positive NPV, so firm's value would increase by 46,900, and firm's value, the firm which is undertaking this project, the firm's value will increase by 46,760. So the management must decide to undertake this project if the project is highly profitable and it is able to create an NPV which is significantly positive. Advantage of NPV method. NPV method is one of those methods, unlike payback period, which doesn't recognize the time value of money. It is able to recognize the time value of money. It considers the rate of return or the opportunity cost of capital or cost of equity. So it calculates the present value of cash flows. It doesn't take a decision on the value of the cash flows. It first calculates the present value of the cash flows. And further, the NPV technique considers all the cash flows in the cash flow stream, which means year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and year 0. Year 0 is the outflow, which is a minus term. These are positive terms. In our last example, we calculate the present value of all the cash flows. It doesn't ignore any particular year's cash flows. The NPV technique also represents a net contribution, so it answers us in a particular positive or negative value. It is not ambiguous in nature. It gives us a straight answer whether the value we are looking at is a positive one or a negative one. If positive one, the project shall be accepted. If a negative one, project shall be not accepted. It shall be rejected. Disadvantages. Unlike payback period, NPV is quite tedious process for calculating. First, you have to estimate the cash flows, then time value of money, then the cost of equity and all. The determination of required rate of return KE is also a difficult proposition. So if KE is not correctly taken, correctly estimated, the value of NPV would be wrong. That means the decisions which are taken on the basis of a wrong KE would lead to a wrong NPV. So that's the issue. So you need to estimate the cash flows and KE very correctly. Also, the NPV doesn't consider project's own rate of return. Rather, it considers the rate of return of the entire firm. So the firm might have a few projects, A, B, C. NPV considers the K of the firm, not cost of equity of project A or project B. So that means considering a single KE for all the projects might not be good in the long run. So that's the disadvantages. So we have seen how NPV is calculated and how decisions are taken. There can be a comprehensive question about how capital budgeting decisions are taken. It will consider the rate of taxes. It will consider other things, which is a complicated method. So we will discuss that later in a new video. Today we have discussed NPV, how NPV decisions are undertaken, whether positive NPV should be accepted or not, negative NPV should be rejected. So thank you so much for being with me today. In the next video, we will discuss internal rate of return, which is a very important concept in capital budgeting. Till then, kindly write to me in this email address. You can WhatsApp me also. If you need to know more about present value factor tables, please email or WhatsApp. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also like the video. Thank you so much. Bye bye. See you next.